Please.
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, is it that time already? Oh, well. It's that time, I guess. Oh. 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 Oh, good morning, folks. It's that time already. You know what? The night goes by too fast. It is, what is it? It's Wednesday. I know that. It's Wednesday, March 13th. Is it Wednesday? I'm lost. Yes, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. Beautiful day here in Long Island, New York. I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are as well. You know what? Today, we've had so many no-shows lately that I think we should probably have a voting on your favorite no-show of 2023 instead of your favorite guest of 23. Today we only had one guest scheduled, and she's here actually already. Good for her. That's what we like to see. People actually showing up on time. But we also have two guests that were late additions because Sticks and Stones, Abby Russell, who runs Sticks and Stones Comedy Club, they have Hamptons Film Festival, Hamptons Comedy Festival, and now this weekend they have Hamptons Comedy Film Festival. It's like, you know what? I think you're overfesting it. But so we have some people coming on for short segments just to let people know about that, so we can help move some tickets for that. You know what? Bad on Abby for being late on this. And I said to her when she contacted me that I was expecting her to reach out, but I knew it would be like the week of, where we're already booked up. Fortunately, we do have some time today because we only have one guest in. But you know what? It's going to be a crazy kind of show today. We're going to try to juggle three guests where we usually have two guests, where one of them is usually a no-show. If that makes any sense. Before we get to all that, let's bring in the fellows from the Dog Pound. Good morning, fellas. My Dog Coffee, let's vote on blah, 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 blah.
Good
Blah.
morning. MindDogTV.com. The only place to get your Mind Dog TV I Wish I Was Irish t-shirt. MindDogTV.com.
Oh, well, that's good. You know what? Nobody's buying those t-shirts, and it's already too late. Like I'm bitching about Abby being late.
Oh,
that was way
it's
late.
It's already too late. Forget getting your I Wish I Was Irish TV.
If you order it today, you might get it by Sunday. Well, you might get it by Saturday to wear on Sunday. But if you order it tomorrow, it's definitely too late. Put it that way.
If you order tomorrow, it's definitely too late.
That's the way we want to do it. Well, pressure. So buy those shirts today, or else we're going to have to burn them all. We're going to throw them all in the trash bin. Willie's got his plane ticket in his hand. He's waiting for the show to end so he could run from Grants, New Mexico to Albuquerque, so he could sit around the airport all day and listen to whatever they say. Your flight at gate 97 is now boarding for
Your
Tucumcari.
your
I
Boeing
Salt
plane
Lake
is
City
falling
is where I'm
apart.
going to hear
And
most of that. I got a 4-hour layover in Salt Lake City. That's
Oh, so-
actually that's the red eye that I'm actually taking is from Salt Lake City to New York.
Well,
So-
I was just about to say you probably going to about 18 cities on the way to New York. He's going to
No,
stop.
I only have one stop. We only have one stop in Salt Lake City. Then I have that 4-hour layover, and then
that's what you think. You're getting on the Boeing plane. You're going to be stopping for parts halfway through.
I mean, whatever. I don't really trip about flying. Flying doesn't bother me.
Are you planning on taking several new wives in Salt Lake City? Did a big polygamy place. You can probably marry about 4 or 5 women while you're there on a 4-hour layover.
I don't. I'm probably just going to be networking while I'm sitting at the airport.
Networking in Salt Lake City.
On my phone. I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Drive-by comedy is there, where based in. I think it's.
I don't think I'm dry bar material.
I don't think you are either. I think you're wet bar.
I mean, honestly, I bet you I could probably put together like a half hour for a dry bar. I don't know how long. I think their sets are like 40
Maybe you could put it together, but I don't think you could actually get through a half hour without dropping an F-bomb.
Oh, I don't think that's true. Especially if I seriously predetermined.
GD, you got a stopwatch on you? Let's put it on him right now.
I don't need a stopwatch. Are you kidding? I don't bet very often, but if I were a betting man, I'd be like Vegas.
I did like a. Well, I guess.
Oh, hold on. Oh no, it's just a sound effect.
If I'm not a betting man, but I would not only bet the farm, I bet the plantation that he could not go 30 minutes without saying it.
30 minutes. All right. Time.
Plantation is a strange word.
I will say,
but I said it in honor of our Florida guest.
I can resist the urge to drop an F-bomb, but I don't know if I'm going to resist the urge to act like Hannibal Lecter today because our guest name is Clarice.
All right, let's get to it because we have a lot to do today, and hopefully she will oblige us to sit through some other people who are going to do some quick raps about the comedy festival. They're just going to be in and out, hopefully.
So there's a Hampton infestation that we need to talk about.
Yeah. Clarice Kentwood is a Floridian transplant. Have you guys ever had a Floridian transplant?
I got my tubes tied years ago.
She's a Floridian transplant from New Jersey, which means she brought bagels and pizza with her down there. She's been doing comedy for about 11 months and has a podcast called Funny Florida Females, which they're probably like 4. Anyway, she's here now. Let's welcome her. Good morning, Clarice.
Hello.
How are you?
You're supposed to say hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice. No, that's up to you.
We have like 10 episodes now, so I've found 10 of us.
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm in a town called Williston, which is right outside of Gainesville. Nobody ever knows where Williston is.
Not too many people even know where Gainesville is. Now Gainesville's north, right? And Gainesville's in the Panhandle.
A little below the Panhandle.
Okay. So it's hot there. It's summertime there. You already know?
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's the one thing I really dislike about Florida is it's so freaking hot down here.
That's the one thing?
Yeah.
That's well, that and some of the people, because Florida
some of the people
crazy down here for sure.
Don't mind him. He's already got one foot in the penalty box. He's an antagonist. That's all he is.
I used to live in Florida. Unlike actually, and Matt used to live in Florida too. Matt used to live and work in Florida.
Well, I was a child labor.
Child labor, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Never been to Florida?
No.
Wow. Yeah, well, you know what? The Keys are beautiful. And I posted some pictures on Twitter yesterday of my backyard, which looks like the Florida Keys. People were like, you're in the Keys? No, it's my backyard. I forget how blessed I am sometimes with the beaches here. But the Florida Keys are heaven. And I said to my wife, if I had known about Islamorada before I met her, I would have never met her, because I would have been there. I would have probably went there and never come back as a single person. Anyway, enough about Florida, or about the geography of Florida. Comedy clubs in Gainesville. Is there an active scene in Gainesville?
The Gainesville scene is mostly in like bars and cafes. They'll have comedy nights. The main club that I work out of is called the Joke Joint, and that's in Summerfield, Florida. And that's an actual comedy club. And he's been open for a little over a year now. He actually opened about the time I started doing comedy. So yeah, we've kind of both grown, the club and I have grown together. And I perform there pretty much every weekend.
What was that, Willie?
That's cool to like start your career at the same time as a club and kind of grow and bud with the club. That's kind of a cool experience.
You know who did that?
It is. It's really fun. I got given the title house comic, which I'm not really sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That is a good thing.
It depends on the club. It depends on the house.
Well, yeah, it definitely depends on the house and how well it does. But you know what? Here in Govs, they call them club favorites, But they get a lot of opportunities to open for people and learn and just opportunities in general.
Oh, I'm having a blast. I mean, for me, it's translated to, hey, we need some pizza. Can you run to the pizza shop? Right. You know, that's
yeah, that's part of it. That's okay though. When I was one of the house MCs for Nitwits, one of my favorite things was they had an apartment that the headliner in the future would stay at, because they did like 6 shows from Wednesday through Saturday. And so they would have an apartment. And like my job was kind of to curry those guys kind of around town during those. Like if you were the host for that week, you also kind of hosted the comedians and like took them to lunch, took them to dinner.
Change the toilet paper in the bathroom.
Well, no, I mean, there was
in the
I think they
comedy condo.
David, the club around here, they call me the house. Well, I can't say the word because Gov's on. But as soon as Gov goes, I'll tell you what they call me.
A lot of knowledge. I get, because I'm there early, I get to talk to, the features and headliners.
Yeah.
I stay later than everybody else to help clean up. So while those, when everybody else is gone, it's pretty much me, the club owners, and the other comedians. And I've gotten opportunities from meeting and hanging out with those people. It doesn't help that we all sit around and smoke weed.
Especially in Florida. Hold on. Florida. Well, Florida, she's smoking weed. Where is it? Oh. I'm sorry.
Well, we're a medicinal state.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
If anybody needs medicinal marijuana, it's the residents of Florida.
That's true.
We are. We're a medicinal state, and the club is called the Joke Joint and is very 420 friendly. Nice. And as the club owner says, it's not my business whether you have your medical card or not. We're all adults, and I assume you do.
Right.
So, after the show, we all go out back and recap the show as it is.
Well, I am. Listen, you won't find anybody more 420 friendly than me. I've been doing it my whole life, but I could tell you that led to definitely some problems in my career. We used to back, and I'm thinking about 50 years back in time now. But every break the band took, we went outside, and we had a 13-piece band, and every one of the 13 people lit up a joint at the same time, and we'd be passing around. Everybody had a joint, so there'd be 13 people just in a circle, just passing communal joints around, but we were just stoned out of our mind, and
Yeah, I don't smoke before.
yeah. Well, even on breaks, with bands, it's in between, so you're going back up. You just and so by the time the end of the night came, we were trashed anyway. But even so, I mean, it does. The next day you're like kind of lazy about. I don't hate to be an anti-marijuana guy because I'm not, but it
Well, I
definitely.
think moderation though is what more so you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
but let me just. I
I've
agree.
learned that
I
I don't
agree.
have to hit
100.
it every time it comes my way.
I agree 100%. But when you're in that kind of atmosphere, club atmosphere, and everybody's doing it, it kind of
Okay, okay, all right. So what you do is you turn into a bit of a narc, and you take like a mock hit, like they pass it to you.
a narc.
They pass it to you. You take it to your lips, and maybe just squeeze it a little bit, so like not much comes out or whatever, and and make the sound so they can hear you, and they see a little red, but there's really nothing, and then you pass it on, and it's just a tiny little puff. And you got like not even a quarter hit,
Willie Clinton.
That's all you got to do.
Willie Clinton, folks.
The nomination for best fake joint hit goes to
you're welcome.
One we'll see.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm notorious for being one of those guys that can like hang, and smoke as much as people want to smoke. But listen, there's tricks to being that guy. There's definitely tricks to being that guy.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm sorry I got on that rant, but that's the first time I've heard somebody say the word narc since 1969. Anyway, yeah. So, but 11 months in. Oh, well, I wanted to say that Dave Attell started at Govs the same way that you're starting at this club. I mean, Govs was brand new then. Dave Attell started his career here, and kind of where he is now. He built that up by being a house favorite at a club. So there are plenty of great opportunities there for that. Now, 11 months in, was this something you want to do your whole life, and just why did it take so long?
I have my entire life. I've loved stand up. I have a collection of over 400 stand-up DVDs that I've collected throughout, my life, my adult life. And I've always thought that you had to be special, that everybody that did stand-up, that there had to be, because they were special. And I never really felt special enough to, be that person. And I was fortunate. My husband talked me into going on a cruise. And the only way he was able to talk me into going on the cruise was because he said there was a comedy club. And I was like, well, I'll go in the middle of the ocean for comedy. So on my first cruise, I met the comedian from the cruise. And he was a smoker of cigarettes. So he ended up hanging out on the smoking deck where I was hanging out. And he and I got to talking, and I said, I've always wanted to do comedy, but I'm really not that special. And he was like, well, you don't have to be special. You just have to be crazy. And I said, I got that one.
You can do all that. Yeah.
So, yeah, he pushed me. Like, we exchanged information, and he would just every once in a while he'd message me and be like, did you get on stage yet? So I was like, well, I guess I'll try it. So I got Judy Carter's book, The Comedy Bible. And because I was an A student in school, right? And I'm like, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to like research and study how to do this so I don't look like an idiot. So I did Judy Carter's book I got a comedy buddy, did that for a couple of months. And I had like probably 3 minutes worth of material and 3-4 minutes worth of material. And I just bit the bullet and did it one day. And I came back to New Jersey to do my first open mic. I went up to New Jersey because I was like, well, I don't really know anybody from New Jersey anymore except for my family. So if I suck, they're not going to see me again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
good.
So
That's
yeah,
a
generally
good
the
thought.
attitude everywhere you go, I think.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and so I popped my cherry, as it were, in New Jersey, and then came back here after my vacation, and the club was opening, and I just started going to open mics at the club. And Florida is there's a lot of male comedians, so the club owner was very happy to have a female comedian
Right. I'm
at
sure.
all. We don't have many women come through the club.
That
We
That's
do now
odd
more.
in this time because I mean it used to be the case that everywhere that it was completely dominated by men, but now more and more females are doing it. Before we move very far, I just want to share this picture because you're talking about special comedians needing to be special, and there's Jim Sam and who is this other guy? Greg Stone. Now these guys, they look like they just got off the short bus, all three of them, and I can't. I'm a fan of Jim and Sam, but I couldn't help but comment on it. I mean, posting this picture, uh, huh? But they all look like they came off the short bus, and so I got in some trouble on Twitter for sharing that yesterday. Anyway, just wanted they do look like special comedians do need to be a little bit special, not in that way, not like they
Yeah,
all look like they just got off the short bus.
The gym was the one on the, or I guess if you're looking at the screen, my left, the shortest one. What's his last
Yes,
name? He
yeah.
looks familiar.
Now why would you do that to me, Jim?
Is it Florentine
No,
by chance? What?
no. That's not him. God, something with. Why are you doing that to me?
I
What are you
it
talking
just looked
about?
familiar. I thought for once there was a comedian I actually recognized.
Jim
Um,
Norton? Are you talking about Jim
Norton,
Norton?
Norton. Thank you, Willie. You saved my life there. Yeah, Jim Norton.
Okay, yeah, that name's that face is familiar. I don't know his material. The
Yeah,
face is
no,
familiar.
he's been on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Norton's
Jimmy.
been around a long time.
Yeah, long time. He used to host specials for HBO where he was introducing new comedians to the world.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. That's where I know him from. I
Hate
don't
to
know him.
derail the conversation with that, but all three of them just look like you know what they just like really mentally challenged. Anyways, I think you do need to
You
have
know,
a little bit of insanity to be a comedian. Anyway,
yeah.
I was gonna say Barry Katz always says that I look like I'm gonna rob somebody. Do you feel that way? Do I look like I'm always gonna rob somebody?
I think he said murder.
Did he say murder? I thought he
I
said
think
rob.
yeah, I think because I was
No, you
wondering.
kind of look like I think you kind of look like not an '80s rapper, like a white guy
Oh,
who's trying to be a
thanks.
yeah,
rapper.
you know what? Willie
I'll
looks like.
take that.
He looks like third base. Pop goes the weasel. You know that? You remember
Like
that
I
one? No,
the
too old
hat,
for you.
you
Pop
know.
goes Pop goes the weasel. The weasel. Third base. You don't know that one?
I don't know that song.
Oh, look it up.
I'll look it up.
Look it up right
All
now.
right, back
Yeah,
We'll
back to
wait.
Clarice. I'm so
We'll
sorry.
wait.
that impression.
Yeah. So, do you still have 3 to 5 minutes? Is that where you're at?
Oh God, no.
So
Yeah,
11
she's
months in, you got more.
developed a lot.
I'm featuring on Saturday. Will Clifton is the headliner, and at the club, and I'm featuring and doing 20 minutes. No, I
Wow.
mean being the house comic and doing material every Friday and Saturday night, it really has pushed me
Yeah,
to having to come up with new material
right.
because, a lot of these people are regulars
Right. Yes.
and
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you don't
they
want to give
want new
those
material.
regulars the same show. That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've got, easily probably an hour, probably 20 minutes that are worth anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Will Preston because I didn't know him. I feel like 3D at the moment, but all I'm seeing is a music artist named Will Preston. I'm not seeing a comedian named Will Preston.
Look
William
under
Clifton.
Billy Preston. Maybe he's using Billy.
Will Clifton. He goes by Will C.
Oh, we can't. We can't have that. We
So
can't.
there's one we'll see.
There's
Well,
only one
hey,
we'll see.
hey, listen, there's a reason I put the one we'll see on there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
he's got
nobody's going by that. Nobody's going by all that.
yeah. All right.
he's got tons of IMDb credits. He's been on The Office and Modern Family.
Oh,
Like, so
okay.
he's a name.
All right. There you go.
He's a name.
Will C has traveled the country as a road
Being-
comic and has performed all over the United States and Canada with his quick wit and top goofiness. Top goofiness. I don't know. I prefer bottom goofiness.
I like the
He
stumble, man.
I
served
like
in
middle of the road
3
goofy.
branches of the military. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, face looks familiar. Okay, so you're opening up for him Saturday night, or
Yeah, Saturday at the Joke Joint in Summerfield,
All right,
Florida.
very cool. How often are you working? Are you doing it like 3 nights a week or something,
Every
or
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday? Is the club open all week long?
It's open Wednesday through Sunday. Like Wednesday and Thursday, he has musical acts come in. Right now, to be honest, the comedy's not really carrying the club. You know,
Yeah.
we have nights, some Saturday nights we're packed, there's 60 people. And then there'll be a Saturday where there's 12. So
Right.
the musical acts he has Thursdays and Wednesday and Thursdays usually end up carrying the financially for him the Friday and Saturday comedy, and then Sunday he usually has open mics on Sunday.
Wow. I've been really interested in the financials of comedy clubs lately because I visit a lot of different comedy clubs, different sizes, and I'm always thinking about what's the take here, and
Right.
because somebody I had on last week was talking about a club that we are affiliated with and saying they don't pay enough, and I'm thinking, well, how much is enough? Because I've seen major headliners there, and I'm wondering, like, where's the line of how much a club has to make in order to put on a major national headliner. These are business things I'm thinking about in producing shows. But it's interesting. I'm like being a bean counter now. I'm counting heads, and I'm thinking if it's $100 a person, because they've got to pay for a ticket, 2-drink minimum. Sometimes they eat food and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, well, if the place holds 350 people, that's 100 seats. That's an awful big take for a club. And now, how come they can't pay features and headliners more? It's just like greed.
I think a part of it is that there is a lot of overhead. You have the rent. If you don't own the building,
Right?
even
I get
if you own the building, you have a mortgage on the building. You have, the club I work out of, he doesn't make food. We have food, but he brings food in and it's free. He doesn't charge for
that's not a great business model at all.
No, in
I've
fact,
seen-
but he does that because he said this way nobody can complain about it.
Right.
Because if it's free food, nobody can complain that the food didn't, was too salty or this or that.
Let me just say, people can complain about anything.
Oh, they do. But
you
he's able to be like, well, I'm sorry,
yeah.
food. What more do you want from
Yeah,
me?
no, you could say beggars can't be choosers and all that stuff, but people will find a way to they'll complain. If you gave them a brand new mansion on the hill, they'd say, but the taxes are so high.
Right. No, we have
a lot of the venues,
and we're right outside of a place called the Villages. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Villages.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So we're right outside of the Villages, and sometimes I love the people. We call them the villagers. I love the villagers, but sometimes they get restless, and older people complain a lot more
than the villagers are known to get restless.
Yeah. What were you going to say before that? Well, you were on. Oh, you don't remember? It's
Oh
gone.
yeah, I've seen a lot of venues in that situation where they don't have like a food menu or whatever. I see a lot of venues invite food trucks to come and you could probably, I would
That's
venture to
not
say, you find the right food truck and you can probably find a deal where they'll give you like a piece of it for coming for their show. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Right.
that's not a bad idea. I might actually
Yeah.
make that suggestion.
This past weekend, a local fire department had a comedy show as a fundraiser. My brother told me this because a friend of his was there. It was $50 for the comedy show and a spaghetti and meatball dinner, or I guess all you can eat. But
Right.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
food.
pasta's what, $1 a pound?
Right, yeah. But they had an open bar, a cash bar, but you were also allowed to bring your own, which is trouble.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
there were people getting heckling and starting fights, and according to the guy who basically squashed the fight, the people who were starting the fight had a big bottle of like brown liquor on their table that they brought from home. That's not a good idea to have bring your own booze.
Yeah, we don't do the.
I mean, the place I'm going to play in Brooklyn is a BYOB,
Oh,
and it's bring your own booze or bud. You can smoke there too.
ouch. Yeah,
Well,
expect the crowd to be drunken and fucked then.
yeah, Joe
I mean,
Twins has
it is
like
fuck
for
Billy.
30
So I
bucks,
mean,
all you can drink. Like they have a drink package for 30 bucks. You drink all you want all night.
Wow.
yeah. I mean,
But
the Boston's Comedy Club I came up in, they had a $10 keg deal. You could get a glass for $10 and drink from the keg until the keg was gone. And usually they had two kegs.
Who was somebody was on recently talking about a comedy show at a cannabis club, right?
Yeah.
Uh, who was that? I'm having a aphasia moment.
I
Somebody
thought
was.
Will said. I
Well, and I
thought
mean,
Will was
I'm
talking
going
about
to do.
that.
That's where I'm
Oh,
the
okay,
Up Billy in Brooklyn. That's
okay.
at a
So I would prefer where I was going with that. I would prefer a stoned audience to a drunk audience, as
I
far
will
as
definitely say that I would prefer people
I agree.
stoned.
they're more apt to laugh. I think if you're drunk, you're more apt to get loud and just think you're the funny guy.
I
Yeah.
got to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right, let's do this. You come back when you come back. Yeah, and our impromptu scheduled guest has already been a no show. We should have put this on the under over. Our first one was supposed to be here already. Who is that? That was
Andre Rosen.
Andre Rosen, right? Who has a film called Carol and Janet that it will be at the Hamptons Comedy Film Fest this weekend, Friday night. Anyway,
Go see it, even though he didn't come here, so we could see him.
he's on the West Coast right now, and probably I think we went back and forth with. I told him you can come on 10:15 or later, but we're only on till 11. He said he can come on at 8 a.m., which would be 11 o'clock. I was like, we're off the air at 11 o'clock. We're not generally. We override it, and then he said he wanted to make it 9 o'clock, which is 12 noon his time. I was like, this guy's just impossible to kind of. Why are comedians so difficult with time zones and understanding how the clock works?
I think that a big part of it, is that, comedians aren't the most fastidious people sometimes.
That's true.
And that's why I don't
Oh,
call myself a comedian. I'm a humorist. Humorist, we are good with the clocks.
You're fastidious?
Fastidious.
Or maybe you should call yourself, instead of forensic humorist, you should call yourself a fastidious humorist.
Fastidious and precise. I'm a killer.
Right.
Like they tend to be more like, leaf on the wind type people.
Right. Tell me about your podcast. What are you doing?
Well, me and my friend Patty Hope.
Patty Hearst?
Hope.
Oh, I thought you said Patty Hearst. I'm sorry. Okay, continue.
It started because I was driving down the road one day and had the thought, there's so many like podcasts that are about dudes and like dude centric. Like there should be a podcast like for women comedians in Florida. So I called my friend Patty and I said, there should be. And she said, you're right. There should be. Let's do that. And I said, no. I said, somebody should. And she was like, well, we don't know anybody else who's going to do it. So we need to. So that's how it started. And we just got onto Spotify. We were on Podbean. And we just got accepted over to Spotify the other day. Which was very exciting.
Why?
You know,
Why?
I don't know. I just every new little thing, when we hit, 50 listeners, I was excited about that.
Yeah.
Every little thing, I'm like, yay, we're on Spotify. Maybe it's not exciting to other people.
Well, the thing is, and the reason I said why, because Spotify, we're on Spotify, we're on all the networks, obviously, but Spotify is not necessarily the place a lot of people go for podcasts. It's not like, I mean, that's why they invested so much in Rogan, to hoping that they bringing him on and giving him an exclusive would bring in a podcast audience. But after a year and a half, they saw it wasn't working, and now they don't cut the exclusivity with Rogan and are putting him back out there to the world because they're trying to find some way to get their money back. So Spotify is not necessarily the premier destination to go to for people who will listen to podcasts.
Well, we're not big enough for Apple Podcasts yet. They won't.
Of course you are. Why aren't you?
You'll get there. Yeah.
They said that we didn't have enough viewers yet.
Oh no. You get on. You don't.
The email that we got.
I don't know how you're doing this, but you just submit and they will put you. They find your RSS. They put you on there automatically.
Yeah, my Anchor just had me added when I had one on Anchor before. It just had me automatically added.
Yeah. You don't have to be big enough for any of these platforms. They're happy to, because it doesn't cost them anything. They're not hosting anything. They're just pointing to your RSS feed, and it brings them.
I'll submit again, because it was like right in the beginning. We submitted to a bunch of them. And Apple Podcast came back and said we didn't have enough content.
You tell them you know me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I barely get into the technical stuff.
Okay.
I'm not a tech person by any means.
Gotcha. Now, what format do you have guests on, or it's just you and Hope?
We have one guest. Each episode's about 30 minutes. We have a guest, and we do an interview with one female comedian per show, and then we do a segment called Florida Woman, which came out of all of the Florida Man articles, right?
You get a lot of women wrestling alligators or trying to have sex with alligators down there, or
it's some of the stories. Yet the last taping, one of the stories that we did for Florida Woman was a woman who ran a woman over in the Target parking lot because she wasn't walking fast enough.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah. Like we had one story where a woman stole an alligator from the zoo, brought it to her hotel room, and took photos with it for her birthday.
Bizarre. These people.
What kind of photos? Like sexy type photos? Was she doing like?
She took naked pictures with the alligator as a birthday gift.
Alligators come naked. I don't understand.
That sounds like somebody from Denmark might do.
I don't get it either. She had worked at that zoo, right? She was a former employee of the zoo. So we were like, the news story didn't say, but we think she may have had a personal relationship with this specific alligator. And that's why he was the one that she got naked with and took pictures in a bathtub with.
I would concur. I would agree with that. That sounds on point to me.
Yeah, I mean, you build a relationship with a gator and then you lose
Look,
your job. Like,
I've
you
seen
gotta be missing
I've seen
that
prison
knowledge.
guards do that with inmates.
Exactly.
And how often are you putting it out? Are you putting it out every week?
We do twice monthly, like usually the 1st and 15th of the month.
Just I
You know, we try to put an episode out.
All right.
But
man,
we have a producer who while we love him, he sometimes gets a little behind because
I get a
he's
little behind every once in a while when I can, if she's around. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, he has a life outside of our podcast.
What?
So, he sometimes gets behind, but we try to do the 1st and 15th. We tape 2 episodes once a month. We tape the 2 episodes for like 2 months out. So it's
all right.
usually not like current events. Like, we don't really ask where the guest is going to be, say this weekend,
Right.
because nobody's going to hear that. It,
Gotcha.
it's more used. Our guests use the podcast to send to their fans to let the fans get to know them a little better.
Yeah, I get it. And that's a big part. I had somebody who was really just getting started, hasn't had any real experience at all, and she was looking to get on podcasts. I sent her a link, and she said, "What's your reach?" And I was like, "You know what? At your place in life, I can't even. I won't even bother answering that for you. You need exposure. It doesn't matter if I'm reaching one person or
Matter if it's 50 people.
right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get that. Like,
People get it in their minds that it's not worth it's not worth an hour of my time to do this because I'm only reaching whatever, and our reach is bigger than 50 people.
but if
But
I look at it like if one single person sees me on this podcast and is like, what? I didn't even know the joke joint existed. I
right.
didn't chick was out in the world. And
And
then
also, you already mentioned the benefit for them is they can use it to kind of as a marketing piece on their own and share it around. So for somebody just starting out to ask, "What's your reach?" I feel like what, go away, go away. I'm not even going to bother to answer that for you.
we're not reaching you. That's exactly, you are not our reach.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Now, with the comedy stuff, have you traveled throughout Florida? Have you? Because Florida has a booming comedy scene, not so much not as just limited to Gainesville. It's all everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
down on the coast.
I've traveled to like Orlando, Tampa, Daytona, about like a 3-hour
A
drive
3-hour tour.
from my house is pretty much, but it's like driving to Orlando, that's like 2 hours for me.
Right.
And it's the grind of driving out to Orlando on Wednesday. In fact, tonight, I'm going to a open mic that's what's called a kick out mic. So you get up and you have 2 minutes, and at 2 minutes, the audience decides whether you get your other 3 minutes or if
Wow.
you get kicked off the stage.
It's like a not kill Tony, but save your life, Tony.
Wound
Like,
Tony.
I haven't done it yet. I haven't done this mic yet. It's a new thing they're trying, and I'm a little scared. Like I'm gonna drive an hour and a half and maybe do 2 minutes.
That's what, it's 2 minutes that for new people, and that's where I was getting with this. Getting out of listen, the club situation that you have where you're becoming a house favorite. That's a great thing, but at some point you have to kind of branch out.
Yeah.
You're never going to get any wider
Well, and that's
recognition until
the
you.
thing is that that's why I say that sometimes being the house comic can be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing because I've like talked to people who have been at, for instance, one club for years and years, and that's what they do. Like, that's the club that they work out of,
Right.
and they don't really branch out from that.
Right.
I just picked up a couple
You
of
get too
MC
comfortable.
as an MC, as a host, which is new to me. I haven't hosted before. So I'm excited about that. That's out further from my club.
11 months in is really in comedy circles, it's really kind of like infancy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah, it's pretty young. Yeah.
yeah,
Club owner calls me the baby comic.
yeah, because unfortunately, comedy is it takes longer to establish yourself in comedy than it does in medical or legal practice.
Oh,
It really does. Unfortunately, I mean, it generally takes that long. There are exceptions to every rule, and some people but I think it comes down to how much you hustle and how hard you work towards it. And it seems like you're doing quite a bit. There are people who are in it 11 months who do one open mic a month or something like that, and that's no way to advance anything.
yeah. That's I know people that only come to the open mic, and and a lot of times they'll come to the open mic, they'll do their open mic thing, and then afterward they'll whine and complain about, why don't I really get on any other shows? It's like, well, have you talked to any bookers? Have you asked anybody? They're like, well, no, I'm waiting for somebody to call me. Well, sometimes you have to be the one to call.
Yeah, you're gonna be waiting a long time if you do that.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna lay on the couch.
Yeah, some
I'm
people
gonna lay
really
on the couch and smoke a joint and wait for an opportunity to knock.
Right? I mean, like that booker, trust me, he's got a dozen people calling him.
Wow.
He's not going to call you when he has
More
a
than that,
dozen
way
people
more than
up
that,
his butt.
hundreds.
Yeah.
He's going to go with the people
Yeah.
that are calling him.
Right. Well, good. It sounds like you got got a good strategy and a good work ethic, and it sounds like things are happening for you now. Comedy festivals. Have you applied to any of them, or?
No, I haven't. I'm still kind of I'm having trouble understanding the idea that, like, so I pay to submit, and then whether like they pick me to be on their festival or not, I'm just out my $50. Like,
Yeah, there are plenty of scams who don't even care. They just want your they're not even really
yeah.
gonna give you a fair shot. They just want your $50 or whatever.
So I'm still I haven't really, like, I feel like I need to know the people involved a little more in
Yeah,
comedy before
that's
I
part
go.
of it. Getting to know the people who are involved with a certain festival, so that it's legit, and then the people who run it and they're legit and all that stuff. That's an important
Right.
way to kind of vet them out. So
I will say,
Yeah, so I haven't really, my husband,
the U.S. comedy,
on the cusp of retiring. So we're gonna try when he retires. Our retirement plan is to travel and do comedy a lot more when as we travel. So I'm thinking I'll probably get more into festivals at that point. I mean, I've been married for 28 years.
wow.
So yeah. So
Willie, what are you saying, Willie?
I don't have any kids. It's just my husband and I.
the U.S. comedy contest.
Go to what?
The U.S. comedy contest has 100% acceptance rate. I'm sorry, it must be the lag is being an issue or whatever. But they accept everybody that submits. The U.S. comedy contest. Dante
Everybody
runs that. He's been on.
Well,
the
how
show
do they
before.
do that? That's interesting. I mean,
everybody
do they
that
just
submits
expand time?
I'm not sure. I mean,
they expand the stage time. I mean, because or they just
I
cut.
would imagine so.
Or they
Start
cut
giving
the
multiple
time of
locations?
people performing.
I think some of it. I think.
Yeah, we got a big delay problem here.
Right.
Maybe
Well,
multiple
I know
locations?
there's a lot of different levels to it. But I know that for the U.S. Comedy Contest, they have 100% acceptance. If you submit to them, you'll get on a show and have your opportunity to perform and compete.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
And
I will definitely look into
and
that.
Kim Wadsworth, I think she was the one that won it like last year or the year before. Maybe not this. I think we had Kim Wadsworth on. She won not last year, but the year before, 2022. I think she won.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
Remember her, Kim Wadsworth? We had her on.
I do.
That's awesome.
All right.
I like knowing, you know, that one's, you know, that's legit. That's very helpful. I mean, I love how helpful the comedy. I can't even like gush enough about how helpful I've found people in the comedy community.
To some extent, once you start becoming a threat to them, you'll see that change a little bit.
And I know what it's like to not want to feel like you're throwing your money down a hole, you know.
Yeah. But I have a life philosophy of that, like every person that you come across, there's something to learn from every person, and sometimes it's how you don't want to be.
Well, I would say that's true among like almost everybody on the planet except GD. You can't learn anything from him.
Well, you can learn my stylist's address and phone number, and then you can have hair like that.
See, that's what I mean. You can't learn anything from him. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Anyway, we appreciate you getting up and being part of the program, and wish you good luck. Now, your link tree link is in the description there.
And that's where everything is. You can pretty much find everything to follow me on Linktree.
Okay. Well, thank you for getting up, and we continue to support you. And if you have anything big coming up that you want to promote, please do drop us a line and come back and mention it here.
I certainly will. I had a blast with you guys.
Okay. Have a great day. Bye for now.
You too.
Bye. Clarice Kentwood, our second guest of the Hamptons Comedy Film Fest. It's like a hybrid comedy stand-up and film festival that Abby, our second guest, is here, even though the first guest seems to be lost in cyberspace. Anyway, Jack Adam is a local guy.
Hello, how's it going?
And a 26-year-old baby. I would kill anything to be 26 in comedy. Good for you, man. I'm jealous of you already. How are you?
I'm good. 26 is a great age for comedy.
It's a great age for anything. It's a great age.
Sure.
You don't have any health problems yet.
Keep your head on the shoulders. Next year I went to prison.
I have two heart conditions.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh man.
I have TMJ. I have
well, I have TMJ too but yeah, I don't call that a health condition. That's just a pain in
I got
jaw.
some nerve stuff in my back. I'm an old man in a young man's body.
Holy fuck, man.
Nerve stuff is caused by the TMJ. So
why only 2 heart conditions? Are you like lazy or something?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I know. My parents are like, come on, 5 or 6, up it up. But I gotta keep my life normal. I got one taken care of last year, but I still get flutters. I had a arrhythmia. And then I was leaving a show and I was getting palpitations, so I had to go into the hospital and they shocked me with a defibrillator. And the next day they performed an ablation on me.
Well, all I can say on the bright side is if you were my age and you had gone through that, you'd probably be dead.
Yeah, they wouldn't have prepared you. They would have checked. They would have said, "Well."
But you're very sad. Anyway. You look like a healthy young man, anyway.
Thank you. I try.
Comedy on Long Island, difficult to get started because there are so many. There's a lot of
Oh yeah, I mean, it feels like it's almost more difficult now because when I started when I was 18, so that 8 years ago, just about 8 years ago, it was a much different scene. There was a lot more independent bar shows. There still are, but there was a lot more outside of like the clubs. I'm in the clubs now, and I love being there. And I love kind of where I'm at with the independent side of things, but there was a lot more opportunity for younger comedians outside of the clubs. There were more mics. There were, and this was, all pre-COVID, I think has to do with that. But
Wow, good for you. So you've been in it a considerable amount of time for somebody so young. That's great. I mean, that's a place to be. You're now. How did you get associated with Abby and the Hamptons stuff? The Hamptons.
Through Joe Winchell, who hosts there. So Joe, I know Joe. We're friends. He was very nice to me. In bringing me in. He said to hang out. He got me on a show. And I met Abby, and I just submitted. I was doing my my web series, The Jack and Brendan Show, and I submitted. Abby has a big hand in that, so we talked about it when I met her, and she just kind of made it happen.
Yeah, she's a great resource for the comedy scene here locally. Now, before you. Have you done Govs a lot? I mean, because there's not a lot of comedy clubs here on Long Island. I'm sure you're
right. Yeah. I last year around January, I started getting a lot of guest spots. They kind of just would throw me up when I'd show up, and then after a few months, they kind of was like, okay, you can send in for some avails, and they got me hosting, and so I'm there, somewhat regularly. I like going into the city. I do mics in the city still, and
right. Will's coming to New York. Will is the one right next to you there. He's coming to New York tonight into tomorrow. Got any advice for him on places he can find for open mics or stage time? Yeah,
in the city.
Yeah, he's going to be in Brooklyn.
Going to be perfect.
I'll be staying in Brooklyn. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say Eastville has a lot of mics. Eastville's a nice place. It's a club, but they have a bunch of mics pretty much every day. The Tiny Cupboard is a big spot. If you want to go into Astoria, if you can, QED is a really good spot. There's a lot of good like bar mics too that aren't up on the website. So what was that?
He's on major delay. He's like,
okay.
Well, why don't you try?
I'm so sorry.
Hey, why don't you try getting out and coming back in?
Leaving and coming back.
Yeah. He's on major delay here. But yeah, you mentioned Astoria. Astoria is like a very weird kind of happening in my view. It's like and you're way too young to relate to this, but it's kind of like a Greenwich Village folk scene of the 60s where there's a lot of comedy going on, a lot of little places you wouldn't even know a comedy club. You walk right past them and there's a comedy show going on.
Yeah, there's so many bars, all over the city. There's so many bars where it's just this tiny door and then you go in and it's like, oh, there's 3 extra rooms in here.
Right, yeah.
It's so much bigger. That's how it was. I was in Austin in December, and that's how every bar was. They had multiple levels. It was downstairs, upstairs, around the back. They had Austin was like that too. It was weird.
Yeah. Now I'm going to wait until I bring Willie back in here. I'm waiting for his camera. Well, there you go. Any better, Will? You hearing us now in real time?
It feels like it. I don't know. It always feels like it.
Oh. I wanted to mention this Altercation Comedy Festival in Austin is today or tomorrow is the last day for submissions, and I know JT Haberstadt pretty well. You guys, if you're so inclined, I think that's a good one to get involved with, and you can mention my name on the application and maybe get, because a lot of happening comedians in the Austin area are being a part of that for the last 6 or 7 years. So definitely might that's a good one to get involved in, and I know that's a legit one. Have you done any festival work? Have you?
No, I haven't. This is kind of my first into it. I kind of put off putting well, first off, when I started I didn't have the money to submit, but now kind of I have a better tape now, so I'll definitely start submitting for stand-up and for film. So
I have to be honest, I was looking at the I was wondering about the Altercation. I'm going to look at it right now. The application, I didn't see any place where they actually asked for money for the submission on this.
Oh really? That's good.
I'm not saying that's necessarily I got it right, but I'm looking at it right here. There's no click the yellow button to get started. I'm just seeing that. Did they ask for money ever? No, not on this application. It's just an online application.
Okay.
Huh.
Unusual, right?
Yeah.
How do they pay the bills for it? I don't know, but well, I know they definitely sell out a lot of venues because, as I mentioned,
I'm sure partly through sponsorship.
Well, here's the thing. I want to try. I'm going to talk to because Issues with Andy does a live podcast from a comedy club down there during it. So I'm going to reach out to JT today. I know today's the last day he's accepting, or today or tomorrow, but to see if we can do the show from Austin in November. November 18th is when it starts. So anyway, yeah. So what exactly? Because Abby has had the Hamptons Film Festival. She's had the Hamptons Comedy Festival. Now she's got the Hamptons Film Comedy Fest. What exactly are you doing this weekend? Are you doing stand up? You're not.
So I'm doing both. So my web series, The Jack and Brennan Show, will be shown. I think at 7:00 is when the film section starts, and then there'll be an intermission, and then I'll be doing stand up on the show after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a kind of a weird thing because I think people get into a film watching mode. They're not necessarily primed for comedy. I would
Right.
I would probably do it the other way. Have the stand up guys come first, and then if you want to watch a film afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had that experience with music where it's like, well, the band's going to do an hour, and then you
Right.
guys do an hour, and it's like nobody's even going to be here.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
See, that's
either
why
way.
I think it's so good to mix it up. You know what I mean? Like if you mix a band with a comedy show, I think it's good to have a band do have your host or whatever come out and then bring up the band and then have the band do like 2 or 3 songs, then have a performer, then have the band do a song, then have a performer, and then have your head the band does a song before the headliner, and then after the headliner, they do like a big set.
What'd you say, GD?
I said I feel you cringing. It feels like you're cringing.
No, I was thinking. No, I wasn't cringing. I'm thinking that I kind of agree with him. I definitely agree with him on a lot of that. But it also is how it's a variety show then, and
Right.
it kind of like back to vaudeville where stand up started. But no, it wasn't cringe. It was more just thinking of that is how television used to work in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Right.
I was cringing a little bit.
There was a formula for a reason.
You were cringing a little bit.
Yeah, because it brought back some bad memories. Because a few months ago I did a retirement community, and they had a Tom Petty cover band do a full set and then a comic. I had to do 20 minutes, and it was all 75-year-old Jewish people. And I was like, you know what? I can just do my time. And I got, I think, 1 laugh on one stupid misdirection joke.
Yeah.
And then it was 20 minutes of silence. But I bombed like a champ, so I was proud of that.
That's
Senior
good.
citizens are difficult to do comedy for. Matt, I don't know if you've done comedy while you've been doing your music for seniors, but as I've done like our sets for seniors, and they can be very, 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 they're not the same. It's not the same. It's a totally different breed.
Well,
I recommend every comedian doing it once just for the experience.
Yeah.
Not necessarily twice.
Once a year is
really
good
at it.
Once a year is good because you'll kind of, if you're riding high for a while, you do one of those shows and it's like, oh no, I don't have everybody. I'm not as good as I thought.
Like.
Yeah.
Mr. Tongue, our good friend Mr. Tongue, says comedy and music don't go together. Those shows are rough. They can be, or it really depends on the atmosphere, the time. I think there should be some time in between. Like, so you don't want like a high energy music thing. People are dancing and singing along and come right away with the comic right then.
Yeah, then they got all sit down. They're still having fun, taking pictures. Then they head to the bar.
That's a good time for the MC to come out and lull them into a comedy mindset before that. Steve Byrne, who was on the program a while back now, he was talking about opening up for Kanye at Red Rocks. And I said, wow, that had to be awful. He said it was terrible because they're there to see Kanye. They're not there to see a comedian. And they got a little bit rough. But I said, would you recommend doing it? He said, hell yes. Hell yes. Because if you can establish any kind of presence in that situation, first of all, your confidence grows completely. You
Sure.
can master any room. Plus, the paycheck is just amazing. You open it
Yeah.
up for Kanye West at Red Rocks. I mean, it's got to be better than any comedy club you could ever imagine doing. So,
Yeah. Because agreeing
Yeah.
to that gig is basically being like, I'll pay to bomb. I'll get paid that much to bomb. That's totally fine.
I don't necessarily agree with that because like Josh Adam Meyer was the comedian like warmer for Jelly Roll, and bro, he raised the bar on what I thought about that position. You know what I mean? Because like it's a it's a gig. It's a different. It's not doing stand up. Like when you get asked to open for a music act, you're more in that warmer position than a stand up comedian. You're there to keep the crowd excited and energized and ready to see whoever the next act is. You know what I mean? And so like Josh Adam Meyer was very funny, very entertaining. When I saw him, it was at the it was at the it was in Albuquerque. What the hell was the name of that? I forget the name of the venue that's there, but it was the the amphitheater here in Albuquerque or whatever. But anyway,
Willie Biden for
Josh
president,
Admeyer,
folks.
he went all around that place, and I mean, I think that it just, it's kind of like we were saying, the energy level, you have to match who you're opening.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I say. Basically, it depends on the atmosphere, the audience, the artist, all that stuff. It can be a nightmare. I can see how sometimes it can work, but I think probably more often than not, it could be a nightmare. But Jack is kind of right about this. For if the money's right, I would bomb for it.
Definitely don't try to
basically- yeah,
bomb.
basically
Try to
you're-
do well.
Basically, you're a fluffer with jokes. Yeah.
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 I have a friend, Neil Rubenstein, who was opening for Taking Back Sunday on tour, and he said it was a great experience.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Neil is kind of an enigma to me because I've seen him all around. He's been like Long Island knows him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen him. I don't know his stuff.
He's really funny. He has a special on YouTube. I think it's called Have Some Dignity. And he got like a punk label to release it, so it's doing well. So
right. Have you gotten any opportunities to work with some really like national names?
Not necessarily. The biggest one I hosted for this younger, national headliner, Jeffrey Osmus. He was at the club a couple of months ago, and he's just a nice guy. I met him last year when he was here. I just got a guest spot, and I was able to host this time, which was cool. But nobody really big yet.
Well, it definitely, if you continue to host it, Govs, you'll get to meet some decent people. Now, Rogan and Kevin James I don't know if you guys caught this. Rogan had Kevin James on, and they were talking about Long Island comedy clubs and all that stuff. But they were talking about the heyday when there were comedy clubs everywhere. Now we have like Aragona's, which I'm not knocking Aragona's, but it's basically a traveling bar show type of thing. The bars are difficult, right?
Yeah, the bars are, when a bar's really good though, it's really good. And the bars, like for me, it just kind of put some hair on my chest. Like those years of just awful shows, people drunk. There was this guy with like no eyes that was like screaming at me from the bar one time, and he looked like Bob the Builder. It was very weird. And so like those kind of shows, like they might not be the best shows, but they're kind of the best for your development.
Now, what makes a difference? Is it the venue? Is it the promotion? I mean, what makes a difference? What's the criteria for making it a good bar show?
If it's not an ambush show, it's usually pretty okay, because a lot of times people will be at bars and like, oh, there's comedy happening right now.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice if they can like separate the room. Like there's Napertandy's in where is that, Northport? Maybe.
There's two of them. There's one in Miller Place.
Right.
There might be one in Northport.
Yeah, up there, somewhere up there. They have a full wall that separates the bar and the showroom, and people actually come in. That's usually a good show.
Very
if there's
cool.
anything there.
Oh yeah, I know that place. There's that. I think that's the one in Smithtown.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
kind of up
yeah.
that area.
Yeah, I played there last year, and it was kind of strange. There was like a bachelorette party going on in one side of the thing, and then we were performing on the other side. Yeah, that's interesting because bar crowds, generally, I guess this is what you're referring to as ambush, where people are just in a bar and you have to shout at them and say, "Hey, there's a comedy show over
Right.
here." You can't be just in the background doing comedy; it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So this weekend, you're there Friday night or Friday and Saturday?
Friday night.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Six and Stones Comedy Club. You performed at Six and Stones before?
Yeah, just the one time. I think it was in January.
It's different than a comedy club, right? It's more like a theater.
Yeah, it is. It does play more like a theater, but when I was there, they took the first few rows of chairs out. I don't know if they're going to do that this time, but they put tables down, so it kind of felt like a club atmosphere up front.
Cool.
Which was a really good move. I like that a lot.
Do you think? Because I saw Sam Talent twice last weekend.
I was there too. I think I saw you there. I don't think I knew you looked familiar, but I was there.
Oh, you were?
I was there on
Which night
Saturday.
were you there? Oh, Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday, yeah. I was. He came out. He picked. I thought I was hiding in the corner. Because James, the owner was like, "Yeah, go in the corner. You can watch." And then I was like, "Okay, I'm hiding in the corner." And then he comes out. He goes, "Look at this guy who's alone in the corner."
Yeah, I saw you. I was thinking you might be like host because generally I've seen the host wait there instead of being in the green room, sitting where you were. Oh, all right, cool. Yeah. But that night, what I noticed about Sam, and you know what, the energy. I'm sure you probably picked up on this too. The energy when Sam came to the room, it just rose exponentially.
Yeah.
And I thought he's as good at the club level as anybody I've seen doing it ever in my life. But I'm not sure what he does can translate well to a theater experience. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Because I agree. Because in a theater, oftentimes you can't even see the people, at all. And if they do what he does, you have to be able to see who you're talking to. But for a lot of comics, I feel like theaters aren't a goal at all, especially depending on your skill set. Like theaters don't necessarily have to be a goal. But he has because I watched his special and he has an act that he can do at the theater, but part of what makes him so good is the audience interaction. So
yeah, and it seemed like he is, because I saw him Friday and Saturday, and it was very different shows Friday and Saturday. He is kind of one of the few people that is creating comedy on the fly. A lot of people try to give you that impression that they have set material that you're supposed to feel like they just thought of that in the moment. But I think Sam actually is actually creating a comedy in the moment, because it's all about what he's learned from being in town over the last 36 hours, and it's a very unusual thing.
I mean, 15 minutes were just about the global buffet.
Yeah.
But that's such a skill that's a skill that I want so bad, that I've been getting more of, that I've at least the going in and out of material, interacting with the crowd, I'm getting good at. But it was the most impressive comic. I've been the most impressed by him than anyone that's come to the club, just because of I could tell that was mostly on the spot. I know what was moves, he has that move he did in a special, the doors are locked from the outside. I know he has these stock ones, but I don't think I've been that impressed by a comic that's come by. And I've seen Attell and he's great.
Right.
And all these big names, they're doing an act, but that's something else.
Did you see Attell there?
Yeah.
When last time I saw him there, I was a little disappointed, but maybe because my expectations of Attell are just so high. But did you get to meet Sam after with the meet and greet?
Yeah, very briefly. I was sitting at the bar, and then he was like, "Are you a comic?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I can sniff him out." He's like, he knew, alone in the dark corner. He's like, "Yeah, that's a comic."
He's a great guy. Next time he comes to town, remind me, and I'll definitely reach out to him and see if we can get you some minutes on.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. No, so he's a totally great guy and open to stuff like that. Most down to earth and real person I've ever met in show business. He's got no ego whatsoever in him.
That's
really, really great guy. Enough about Sam Talent. So this weekend now, you're going on after films. right?
Yeah.
This is so you're going on into films. Are you basic? Do you have a set worked out already for this, or are you gonna do you kind of feel out the crowd and see where they're at?
I guess definitely the only gauge right now is how old they are,
Right,
you know? So,
but
like, there's certain things that I know I don't wanna even touch on if they're old.
well,
Um,
I'm old, but you know what?
yeah, but you're cultured, you seem cultured. There are a lot of Southampton uncultured old people.
I don't know. Yeah, Southampton. I would not. Oh, let's just edit that out before they hear that. Uh, I
I
think
don't
of
think I know how to get on here, I don't know. Well, you're on Facebook, right?
yeah,
You're on
yeah,
Facebook, yeah.
yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
But I think when I think of Southampton, I think snooty, and this is the
right,
problem. I'm thinking like because I want to bring a lot of comedians. I'm starting to dip my toe in the water of production, but I can actually put on stage in Southampton? Governors is easy. I mean, you get Long Island, but
right,
Southampton, you get Long Island. It's different.
yeah.
Uh, is that intimidating at all?
It's not intimidating, it's just, like, I just hope I choose the right stuff for them. So, like, I have my set. Once I know what time I'm d you know, how much time I'm doing and what I look see, like, what the crowd is like, I'll know what to do. And I have pretty much, like, my 10 or 12 stock minutes that is good for, like, any that I know is good for any audience.
Uh, Now tell me about your web series. Is it a web series
Yeah,
or
that's what I'm calling it. It started as like a fake vlog. It was a very natural kind of progression because I had a podcast with my friend Brendan Ryan, and the premise of the podcast was that we would try to get movie ideas out of just talking and kind of develop ideas. And then one day we went for a vlog because we were going to react to like a stupid Dollar Tree movie, and the vlog was way more fun than the podcast. And I was like, these are where my skill sets lie because I went to school for theater. I did film in high school, made shorts, in college, and that's kind of where my background is. So I was like, let's do like a scripted vlog, and then we episode by episode, kind of the story would change a little bit, and then by the end, we like did this reveal, and it was kind of this very like fulfilling. Or like the quality's not right exactly where I want it because of how on the fly it was, but as like from an artistic perspective, just like the organic flow of like what it became was very exciting. And season two
um
is going to be even better because of it.
now is it just on YouTube or
Yeah,
yeah now because there are so many new platforms opening up that promise better ways to monetize and stuff because I'm
yeah,
sure at some point YouTube and its 3 cents per billion views or
yeah.
whatever it is it just doesn't work out for you because it doesn't even cover production costs. What are you looking long term at like ways to monetize this? I'm sure you are, right?
So I don't know if it's going to work, but I have written music for the show. And once the season's out, I plan to release the music as an album and then copyright my own videos.
Cool. What kind of
Um,
you're a musician?
so I do very little. I have a guitar, I have a keyboard, and I can kind of just make stuff up. So the theme music I made up, the kind of some of the score stuff I made up, and I'm hoping that that'll be my ticket to fractions of a penny per month.
That's funny. What you call just making it up is I think for the last 500 years has been called songwriting or composing, but yeah, just
Yeah.
make it up.
Yeah, I was, if you've noticed, I don't know if some people have picked up on it, but there's like, it almost feels like Peanuts, like the music. And
Wow.
it fits I think it really fits the tune of the show, the tone. And there's a few times where I use copyrighted music that I'm not going to get, money for that video, but
Right.
use some Ahmad Jamal and stuff like that. So just some old jazz stuff.
Question for Will and GD because I wasn't there on Friday. The plausible stuff is that something that Jack might look into
Yeah,
for
yeah, no,
monetizing?
it looks like very good. And GD was checking it out while we were on the show and said it looked all right. Remember the lady with plausible, GD?
Yeah, I've already signed up.
You've already signed up, but
Yeah,
for putting like a web show, a web series on there,
yeah,
ways to
yeah,
monetize that better than
yep,
YouTube, like
definitely.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Yep.
plausible with the Z.
Plausible?
Two Z. I think two Z's, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Plausible.
if you go to Friday's show, it's in the description of Friday's show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah. No, anyway, because this is the biggest struggle. And
yeah, you can definitely monetize with that. For sure.
The idea of because there's so much comedy going on, and people are always trying to find out, how can I make a living out of this? How can I actually get it to pay the bills? And so anything that people can come up with, share the wealth, share the ideas about. Because I think we're just at a point where comedy clubs are being used almost as like radio used to be for musicians. Like people would hear your song on the radio, but you weren't really necessarily getting paid big bucks from that with royalties and stuff. It was pennies compared to
now, I mean, yeah, I don't know if this is what you're saying, but the clubs, at least from my perspective, has been that people get big on TikTok or Reels, and they're not making that much money from that. So then they go to the clubs to monetize their Reels, and they don't necessarily have an act, but they can get 300 people in the club and they get a door deal.
Yeah, but and somebody told me recently that somebody who's been in the game a long time said that recently they've seen post-pandemic clubs are paying a fraction of what they used to pay. And I was at watching the guy hand out I couldn't see what was in the the envelopes on Saturday night, but I was watching the owner hand out the envelopes, and I'm thinking, what is the actual take here? I never want to ask people about but I think it has diminished on the comedy club level, which is why people are turning to now. I understand TikTok isn't paying much, but people are looking for alternative ways, Patreon, and there's a lot of things like Patreon now, which are subscription models and all that stuff.
I was using Patreon for a little bit, but it just didn't work out because we would record so much the first few episodes that I made supercuts of the episode and then put that on Patreon. So there's a bunch of jokes I took out that are on there, but then the nature of the episodes that followed, we didn't have any extra material.
Right.
So I stopped doing that, which I would love to do. And I think we could do like just an extra like sketch each month just to get that Patreon going. But the clubs, I feel like as long as you're not at any club, I don't think unless you're the headliner with a door deal, you're not actually making that much money.
Yeah.
But Governors is a very generous club.
I won't comment on that. I don't know. Now, Will, and I tend to agree with him on this, had a point about headliners not necessarily being all that respectful to features in terms of monetization part, because we know that features generally, $150, whatever, where a headliner could be taken in $3, $4 grand, $5 grand on a night or something like that. They don't really stick up for their features enough. You hate to badmouth the headliners because you don't want them. You want to be a feature. You want to get, but
and what's confusing about it to me is like you were where they are. So why do you not understand that you should be paying them better?
Well, let me give you some perspective on that. I think Jack will appreciate this. The old curmudgeons like me get pissed off about college, the forgiveness of your college debt thing, because I paid it. I slaved 40 years to pay it. Why shouldn't they have to pay it? It's that whole fucking mentality of I struggled hard. You should have to struggle hard to it. It builds character.
I mean, that's a really outdated mentality.
I know, but I think some of that plays. I don't know if that plays.
Definitely for some comics.
Sure, that definitely factors in. I'm sure.
Yeah. So you know what? I had to struggle at $150 for 20 years. You're gonna have to do it too. If I were that guy, if I were David Tell taking in 10 grand on a night, I would say make sure my feature gets paid 500 or something. Something that can pay his bills.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, make it to where my whole fucking thing doesn't go to paying for my room, because that's the other thing. Like a lot of times it's $150 and no lodging. Fuck off with that. Like you could kiss my ass.
Yeah. Now Oh, I got the wrong thing there. I only have the Sticks and Stones link. Jack, do you have a web page or something you want me to put in the description to send people to, or?
You do everything's on my Instagram, so at Jack Adam Comedy. I have a link tree on there.
Okay. For this weekend, do you know how ticket sales are going for
I
the
have
single?
no idea. No clue.
Well, hopefully we'll help with that a little bit. But
Yeah.
Abby, she'd only reached out late in the game. If I would have known about this, I probably would have been pushing it for the last month or so. As far as how much work you're doing locally, are you hustling? Are you out there like two
Yeah,
or
I'm
three?
I'm trying. A lot of times, because I'm trying to do the city more, just because of like I could just do so much more in a night. Like if I have a new bit, I can run it 3 or 4 times in one night, and I kind of know where the bit's at by the end of the night, if they're quality mics. So a couple times a week, maybe I'll go in and do 3 or 4 sets, and then kind of do some stuff out here. If I have a show on the weekend out here, I'll stay out here. But I've been doing a lot of writing because I'm writing a screenplay with somebody right now. So I've actually the past few weeks, if I can sneak in a mic, I will. But I've mostly just been like working, coming home, and just writing. So
Full feature film or
yeah,
your screenplay?
yep.
Comedy?
Um, it's about comedy. So
Interesting.
yeah, I there has really not been that many great movies on comedy. So many of them are bad.
Oh,
Um,
I think you're being too kind. I think all of them are bad
yeah.
so
I think the
far.
the only good thing that I enjoyed was Crashing on HBO. I thought that was a pretty good TV series. And it was kind of expedited, and everything that happens in that show happens to every comic, but over the course of like 10 or 12 years. Somebody else gave me that observation, but I think that's a pretty good show and represents comedy in a decent way. But I'm co-writing the script with somebody, so it's mainly their story that they brought me in on. So I'm kind of telling their story.
Well, I wanted to let you go, but this is a good kind of because there have been a lot of movies, not a lot, but enough made about stand-up comedy and what it's really like. None of them seem to be able to really capture it
No.
really
And
effectively.
luckily, that's not necessarily our goal. We kind of agreed that we don't want that much stand-up in it.
Right,
That it's kind of about this guy's life more
right.
than it is. Stand-up is a big factor in that, but I don't want to see people tell jokes on stage,
No,
especially because like it's when people are talking without moving the story along. Like jokes don't really move the story along. Something has to happen.
yeah, I hear it. And
Right.
back to Sam a little bit. He wrote the book Running the Light, and that
Mm.
really is about the story of a comedian's life. It's not about being on stage. It's not about listen to a guy tell jokes.
No.
It's about all the, all the motel rooms and
Mhm.
shitty venues and places you have to go and the people you meet along the way and some of the crap you have to put up with and all that stuff. But there have been a number of films about that too, and they just seem to, I don't know, feel fake.
Yeah, they're like overly sentimental or melodramatic a lot of the times.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I was going to say Stanhope's movie, Road Dog. Everybody was looking forward to that because Stanhope has been a guy who has talked about how there are no good films about the
Mhm.
life and comedy, and well, this is going to be a good one. And then it was melodramatic. Father's dying. It's all that kind of, broken marriages and all that. It
But I mean,
becomes.
that does happen on the road life. I
Yeah,
mean,
but the
like,
melodrama of it was a little over the top, and
I
uh,
mean, I don't, if things would have went a different way with COVID, because like when I think about like my dad died like on my birthday in 2020, which was late January. I buried him in February, and like 3 days after that, I went and competed in Dallas for that competition, and then I go back in March and win it on March 1st. I win it. And it's supposed to be like this trip to LA during the Netflix, it's a joke and all that. And then fucking boom, fucking COVID happens and all that drives up. But like, dude, like, going through all of those things, like that was like that's life. That's how that shit goes sometimes. Sometimes it is that melodramatic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but again, in a film about stand-up comedy, it feels like it's more of a drama then. And you know what? There have been those.
Right.
There's been plenty of those.
Right.
What's that Tom
And it
Hanks,
probably
Sally
feels
Field one?
forced too, right?
Punchline.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
punchline.
you
You
think?
see,
Punchline, yeah.
Jack has studied this stuff.
Lenny wasn't too bad, but that was more about Lenny than culture and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you really know about Lenny Bruce? Because I don't, and I'm a lot older than you. I'm 40 years older than you are,
No,
and I don't feel like I really know Lenny Bruce, because what was left of him that we can actually watch was the stuff after he was
Right.
done trying to be funny and just trying to be an activist and talk about his court cases all the time.
Right.
So I never really got to.
And that stuff before he, became all anti-censorship and everything is really not great. Maybe it was,
Right.
I don't know if it was great in the day, but it doesn't necessarily hold up.
Right.
At least
Ye-
style-wise.
Right. I saw one of the few clips that I saw of him was he was doing a song that was a comedic song, like a piano accompanist, and he's doing like a jazz thing and little, anecdotes in between singing a melody of a song he wrote. I was like, wow, this is much different than the Lenny Bruce portrayed in the movie by Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
So it's very cool stuff. Anyway, anything going on next week? Are you performing anywhere next week? Will's in town. I just thought it might be a good chance to go catch it, or
I feel like no, nothing.
all right.
In a few weeks, I'll be in Sag Harbor. I'll be at the Bay Street Theater next month. That'll be fun.
Sag Harbor. There's a lot of national comedians who actually live on Sag. The guys who are really millionaires. I don't know if they ever get out and see like young talent.
I doubt it. If I lived out there, if I had that much money and I was 30 years into comedy, I'm not going. I'm not checking out the new talent.
I hear you.
I would like to think that I would like to, but I understand what if you're living out there, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah, but some of those guys, and I'm not going to name names here, but some of them are purists in love with the art of comedy.
Sure.
And I think those people are good to, if you can get a chance to be seen or associated with them in some way. What is stand-up comedy movies need more full frontal male nudity? No, I don't think so. Less.
Yeah, Lenny had too much of it.
Yeah, too much of it. Anyway, Jack, please do come back sometime. We will do our best to support you. And at Jack Adam Comedy, is that what we're sending people?
Yep.
And yeah, when you have some dates, local dates, let me know, because I will definitely come out and support you.
Absolutely.
So thanks for getting up and being part of the program this morning.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye for now. Go see Jack at Sticks and Stones Comedy this Friday night. Right. Anyway, you want to run a commercial, and then we'll come back and bullshit a little bit about Willie's upcoming travels.
And you can tell me in the office. I don't know how it went last night. The Lord and the Lady thing.
Was there a lot? Oh, it was all about haircuts. It was all about haircuts.
Oh, okay. In that case, I don't even know. If that's it, then I don't need to know then.
Well, Willie's getting his hair braided, and he's paying $90 for it. So, because he's foolish like that. Anybody who pays $90 to have their hair braided.
Who said I was going to pay $90 to braid my hair?
I'm just busting his balls, because that's what he pays for his
Yeah,
braid.
that includes tip, and that looks like this.
Oh,
there's a difference.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Anyway, this. Right there. Yeah. Now, did you see the cum?
It looked
Did-
oil. It looked more like Beverly Hillbillies oil to me.
You didn't see the cum?
I don't think that's cum.
You don't think that's cum? What's it supposed to be then? What's the product?
I think it's
Bro,
lube.
if you come that much, like you're gonna be in the Guinness World Book of Records.
You'll be in the hospital first, and then get his book of world records.
Well,
And you'd probably be dehydrated.
You can't really judge from video because it could be just a close. Listen, you're close up
Oh
on
my
something.
God.
Perspective is everything, so you can make it look like it's a lot, even though it's a little.
I mean, that's true. I did just think of the new way that I wanted to die. I want to die from dehydration from coming too much. That sounds like exactly like how I want to go.
Well,
Do
order
you
your.
know how painful dehydration is?
No, I don't really
Dehydration
want to
is-
die of dehydration, G. I'm just,
But
you know
I'm
what?
just saying,
Golly.
dehydration is very painful.
You're just too
Yeah,
much
no,
of-
it would suck. It would suck. Yeah, no.
You should change it from forensic humorist to fastidious literalist. That's what you should change it to.
I already got the
Astute.
business cards made.
Astute
Sorry.
literalist.
Yeah.
I already have the business cards, the websites. I'm not changing it now.
I got to get more
I'm
business
vested.
cards. I'm all out of business cards. I want to update my business cards. I need new ones. Should I even still use them? I mean, it's still good to have them, right? It's still good to use them.
I have people ask me for mine. I don't know what they do with them, but I have people ask me for them.
Yeah.
I'm literally just last week I was having lunch with a booker and he asked me for my card. So,
Right? Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what he did with it afterwards. I have no idea. You know,
I still think there's a benefit to having a card to put in people's hands for sure.
No, it definitely. I got to be honest. With the band, we get a lot of bookings from cards we've handed out for private parties. People see us in a venue, they take the card, and eventually a lot of them call for private party stuff.
I do think that I think that putting a QR code on your card now is probably even better, though. Like if you can put a QR code on your card and then people scan that and go straight to a website or a link or whatever for your stuff, I think that's like
I spent 20 minutes.
I
spent 20 minutes yesterday explaining to somebody on the phone how to use the QR code on the poster.
No way.
Yeah.
No way you didn't.
Yeah. What do I do?
Like, all you have to do is take a picture of it.
Right. Take a picture of it.
And
I took a picture of it. Yeah. And then they send me the picture they took. Like, I took a picture of it. Well, you didn't touch it to say go to the website. So you took a picture of it and then you sent me the picture of it. That's not.
That's exactly how that works. That's how that works. You take a picture of the QR code and you send it to the person,
right?
And then they send.
You know what? If you send me a picture of a QR code, I'm just sending you the fucking link. That's the next thing I'm doing. I'm just sending you the fucking link. There you fucking go, you fucking asshole.
Right, but I felt like an obligation to teach the person how to use QR codes whenever they see them now, not just mine. Just for the sake of humanity, so that you know how to do this. But it's also,
and I think that was my first F-bomb. Was that my first F-bomb of the day?
I
went an hour and a half. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I have to say,
weren't talking the whole time. You can't talk for that long and not drop the F-bombs.
That's
you were sitting in silence most of the time.
These are all good points, Your Honor.
Yeah, I have a question. So for governors, am I gonna not be like I have to watch what I say on governors, or is that?
No, you can't.
I'm the only one that has to watch what they say on governors.
No, you can't use racial epithets. You can say "fuck" all you want.
It?
Yeah, it's,
all right.
And they haven't.
I don't understand what a racial you mean somebody died?
I'm sure you don't, GD. I'm sure that doesn't register with.
Racial
it means you can't call me a honky on their
not
show.
Epithet. Basically, if YouTube has the potential to strike you for the language, I don't want to use that on this language or on Gov, because I don't want them getting a YouTube strike because of something that was said on here. YouTube won't strike you for saying
but
fuck.
I mean when I go on Tony's podcast.
Yeah, I'm not worried about. If you're on there, you could say whatever the fuck you want, because it doesn't. I'm not. It's not me getting them in trouble. My only concern here is if they get a strike because of something that was said on this program. I feel I'm responsible for that.
Right.
So after 10:45, you could say anything you want. You could say guinea wop.
Yeah, no,
There you
that's
go.
okay. I don't
Ball.
speak Rachel epitaphs anyway.
I think you do.
You do. He does it in code, like little dog whistles. So only his little racist New Mexico friends can understand it.
Right, yeah. You taco
Bro,
eater.
I gotta say, I may have made a mistake.
You burrito face.
Oh my god, no, I've never said that. Fucking I will say I may have made a mistake. The weed that I smoked this morning was I just smoked. I loaded in the bowl what was on the tray, but I didn't realize that what was on the tray was the leftovers from the time warp.
You're smoking catnip. You're smoking catnip.
No, okay, so what we do is like we usually smoke blunts and then we save our roaches and then we smoke second generation blunts that we call DeLoreans. Okay. And then we saved a bunch of our DeLorean roaches. Like we knew that those were roaches from DeLoreans. We saved those. And then we made another blunt with those guts, and made what we call a time warp. And I forgot what was happening.
Your lungs are gonna look like mine if you get to my age. Your lungs are gonna be like, because you don't hear it when I'm sitting up, but if I lay down for like 5 minutes,
oh yeah, no, dude, I wheeze like really bad. I wheeze in my sleep like so bad.
Wow,
like it's terrible.
Yeah, so
I don't even want to know what my lungs look like, bro.
Yeah,
I'm so close. I'm so close to doing a Jefferson's joke. Is that Wheezy?
Wheezy.
Yeah, I'm so close to, but no.
Good, thank God.
Because Matt says my jokes, you can see them coming a mile away. So I'm not going to do the Wheezy thing because you obviously have seen it coming a mile away. So I'm not doing it.
Right, from a mile and a half now. It's getting further and further out.
You know, it's easier to see him when you put that stupid red flag on the back of him.
Right. Now
that's partly how we see him coming so far away.
That's why.
You got that stupid red flag that they put on the back of mopeds. You know what I'm talking about?
And the planes that fly over with the smoke.
Anything that sticks out more than 6 feet from your rear, you have to put some kind of warning on it so that people know it's there. I mean, that's just courtesy and also probably the law in many states.
So what do you guys what do you guys think about this altercation? Can you guys get to Austin? I want to ask JT, because if issues with Andy, I know they're more respected among the comedian who are going to be at altercation. But if we could do the podcast from there, I think it would an hour podcast. Traveling all the way to Austin to do a 1 hour show or a 2 hour show.
That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that because I wouldn't be doing it just for the show, but I'd be doing it to maybe get some comedy done, and I can mark Texas off of my list. I have a bucket list now. I don't expect to be famous, but I would like to hit all 50 states and do some comedy in each state.
Would you apply to altercation especially if there's no fee? I think you should probably do it today.
I'll check it out as soon as we're off. Actually,
they are asking to include a clip, no more than 5 minutes, 5 minutes or less, a YouTube or Vimeo clip. But if you can do that,
the only thing that sucks for that is the only clips I have that are that short are not like professionally shot, and they like move around.
But can't you just take a longer?
But the material's good. The material's really good.
Can you take a longer piece and edit out like a 3-minute piece just to show them?
Oh, I probably. You know what? I do have a couple videos I might be able to do that with.
Yeah.
Just
and
again, my whole not being good with technology really hampers me on this shit.
Yeah, I get it. But right now you can take advantage of some free AI stuff that will chop a clip up for you. So there's that. You could just say, there's plenty of those. I give free samples, so you sign up for the free membership. You do one clip and then cancel your membership before they charge you. That kind of thing. But yeah, I would love to do the show from Austin. because it probably get some live cool comedians on the show right there on the
Yeah.
day it's in a comedy club. So
Yeah.
Sure. When you say that's in
And
November?
I would love to see Mind Dog TV do more of that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
well, I was going to approach
Different.
Tony about that, and maybe next week when you're in the studio, we can. Oh, that's this week. You're going to be in the studio Friday.
Yeah,
This
that's
Friday.
this Friday. Yeah.
Maybe I'll call in and we can talk to Tony about that because Tony kind of runs the Giggle Room over there. Giggle Room holds about I would say 50 people, but it's a small stage. But if we could probably do the podcast from there, the Giggle
Yeah.
Room and Gov's like a live podcast type of thing. That would be cool. Anyway,
Oh, I'm talking about Texas.
huh?
I think you're talking about Texas.
I am talking about Texas. I'm talking about
But
that, but
we're talking about multiple things.
multiple things. We can
At
walk
the same
in,
time?
we can walk
Yeah,
in
yeah,
two
yeah.
podcasts at the same time.
Yeah, we're making moves. We're talking about making moves. We're talking about doing things. We're talking about getting busy, getting it done.
All right.
Okay.
So now, Will, what's the agenda? Tonight you're flying out? You're getting to Albuquerque tonight?
Yeah,
this
so
evening?
technically I fly out of Albuquerque tonight, and then I have a 4-hour layover in Salt Lake City. And excuse me, gosh, I'm so sorry about that. And then I'll be taking the red eye to New York City. I'll get to New York City. I land at JFK at like 6 a.m. I can't check into my hotel until like 2. So I got to figure out how I'm gonna spend my time between 6 a.m. and 2. It doesn't take all that long. I was thinking about like going down to Times Square and stuff like that, check that out or whatever.
You know what? I'll find out where the video is playing in Times Square, and see if I can get the information of where you can go see that. So if you're going to go there,
Yes, that'd be awesome because I definitely want to do a recording of me with that, and because I will sit there for an hour and fucking wait.
now
Well,
this
of course I will.
MTA pass you're getting, does that include? Do you know if it includes the Long Island Railroad?
You know what? My wife and I will look it up again today because we're gonna buy it today because I don't need it till tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's subways, trains, everything. I'm pretty sure it's everything.
Yeah, but I
I'll
don't
look
know.
again.
I don't know if Long Island Railroad is considered part of that. It would be good if it were, but whatever. I'm just thinking, possibility. How are you going to get to Govs if MTA doesn't cover that? And I think Sam said he had to take the Lake Ronkonkoma branch of the Long Island Railroad to get there. Speaking of Govs, I gotta let them go now. Bye, Govs. Have a great day over there. Willie will see you on Friday. He won't be here tomorrow, but